Good afternoon, and welcome to Expose Yourself to Art, a show that explores the creative process by inviting artists to join us in a conversation about their life and their work. My name is David Schrader, and with me, as always, is my co host, Linda Scheller. Come on in, Linda. Hi, Linda.
Hi, David.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm wonderful. Hey, have you been with the lessening of restrictions for the pandemic? Have you been getting out more? Have you been uh,
Yes.
freeing yourself from this restraint we've been under for a year?
I've gone to a couple of places to eat, and it just feels like such a luxury. I love it.
Yeah.
It's nice. How about you?
Yes. Yeah. My wife and I, we went to a production at Central West Ballet at their facility, and it was live. I mean, we were there, the dancers were there, nothing online. That was wonderful. We bought tickets to Red Tie Arts first concert of the year this month, which will be at Luca Winery. We have tickets, next week to another thing here in town. It's like, wow, things are really opening up.
Your dance card is full.
Yeah, dance card is full. And speaking of things opening up, Michelin Gallery is expanding their hours, and Linda Knoll, our person behind the scenes and Michelin Gallery manager, come on in here and tell us what's going on at the gallery and what to expect. Are you there, Linda? Come on in here. There you are.
I am. Hi.
Hi.
I'm having trouble with my graphics still, so let me just tell you about it.
Okay, sure.
So we have a new show opening up on Tuesday. It's called Visions Reimagined, which is mainly a show of plein air works that are small field works paired with larger studio pieces. So you kind of get this perspective and size difference. And it's really an interesting show. And the organizers of that are going to be our guests on the 13th in a couple of weeks. So that'll be exciting.
Look forward to that, yes. I was just down at the gallery and hung the show today. So it's a very interesting show to see what people, the small works they do in the field and then what they do later on when they develop it into full-size paintings. So it's great. And the hours at the gallery will be expanding also. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, we're going to be opening from Tuesday until Saturday here, starting this Tuesday. So we had been open only on Thursday through Saturday, but going back to our regular hours. So that'll be cool.
Wonderful. And before we get to our wonderful, talented guest today, take a look at what's going on in our community. There we go. This is our Prospect Theater Project. Prospect Theater Project's Radio Cavalcade presents one of the radio's greatest dramas, Sorry, Wrong Number. This is a stream show, and it will be streaming June 11th to the 13th. And you can get your link at prospecttheaterproject.org. So what else? Linda, take it away.
So speaking of Prospect Theater Project, our previous guest, Ken White, will be presenting his one-act play. It's called Early Morning Light. You can stream it. I've already seen it, and I highly recommend it. It's just phenomenal. There's wonderful original footage and photographs. This is going to amaze you. It's Royal Robbins and the competition to scale the El Cap and other Yosemite rock faces. It's awe-inspiring. So you can stream Early Morning Light through today at prospecttheaterproject.org.
And it's about one of our local VIPs, Royal Robbins. Mountain climber, and yeah, great. So in Turlock, The Opening Doors exhibition is showing through August at the Carnegie Art Center in Turlock. This is a show celebrating the opening of the new library down there. It's already been judged. The best of show is this mixed media piece by Rhett Owings. The Carnegie is open Wednesdays through Saturdays, 10 to 5, and Sundays, 11 to 4.
Also reopening for additional hours is the Chartreuse Muse Art Gallery on 10th and I Streets in Modesto. And their current hours are 12 to 6, Thursday through Saturday.
All right, let's get on with our guest for today, Joel Aguilar, a young man, very talented young man. He's from our community. He's born and raised and continues to live in Livingston, California. Attended college in this area, and of special interest is he spent a year studying in Florence, Italy, the soul of painting and culture and art in the world. So anxious to hear about that. Rather than go on about details of his life, which we can ask him about, he has a wonderful video to introduce himself and what he does. So let's start out by looking at that. Wow. All right. We know what this guy does. It's wonderful. Come on in, Joel. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hey. Great. Great. How are you this wonderful day?
Doing good. Trying to stay out of the heat.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it is getting a little warm today. So, wow. Can't wait to hear a little bit more about you and your art. So I'm going to turn you over to Linda Scheller here. Linda, take it away.
Well, how did you get into art to begin with?
Well, I definitely started from a young age, being in high school, doing some electives, and not really thinking too much about. I jumped into a drawing class as an elective, and not really thinking that I was going to pursue art. I just wanted to have fun and just do like just just relax in class. And as I started doing some drawings for my class, my teacher, Sarah Hill, she saw something and she thought maybe I would love to do a little bit more creative things with art. So she started taking me into different courses and introducing me to different techniques in art. And I started pretty young, from like 16, and from there I just just kept on doing.
Was
Okay.
your family surprised that you went down this path?
Yeah, they were pretty surprised. I mean, my parents are, they sacrificed a lot to come to America. They're originally from Mexico, so they're thinking, okay, now my kid's gonna have a stable future. They're gonna, we're gonna be able. He's gonna be a doctor. What is it? Just something that they think that I'm secure. I don't have to worry about money. And they said, nope. He decided to be an artist. But they were at first pretty hesitant to like let me venture into my art classes. But as they saw the way I really just like enjoyed art, they said, hey, you know what, you're really doing something. They started believing in me after I got accepted into college. And from then on, they've been super supportive about anything I do with art.
That's great.
Yeah.
Maybe
And
you
you
could
went to,
describe your college experience a little bit.
Oh yeah, well, I've had an interesting one, because I feel like not a lot of people in my area can kind of help you or hold your hand when it comes to being creative. So I felt like I was kind of doing it alone, besides looking at my mentors and teachers and saying like, what do I do after this? And they're like, well, we don't know. We're new in the Central Valley, so this is going to be your own journey as well. So um, going into college, before that, I got accepted into a pre-summer program for college called CalArts, which is an amazing, campus where it's actually the location of some Disney movies and where they've been created. It was one of the locations where Walt Disney first started, creating a studio in Valencia, just to kind of escape reality and just really focus on animation there. So that was my first experience of like college life, and then from there I went to CSU Stanislaus and continued, following my dreams. And my last year, I ended up going to Florence, Italy, as a study abroad a student.
yeah. So how did that come about, your journey to Italy? Is there a story there?
Yeah, there definitely is. It's a unbelievable one, honestly. I just can't believe that like a kid from the 209 from Livingston, California was able to somehow go to Florence, Italy. I went for a whole year, but to tell you the whole story a little bit, um, I was really interested in kind of focusing more on art, and I really wanted to stay close to Turlock. So I told my professor, I think I'm going to move out of my parents' house so I can really focus on art and be closer to the campus. And Roxanne Robbins, Dr. Roxanne Robbins was my advisor, and she's also the art chair. And she, suggested, why live here if you can do the same in Italy? And I kind of like, what do you mean? What are you trying to say? And she told me, there's an application that you can do, and if you get accepted, you go for a whole year, and you get to go to the CSU. It's called CSU Florence, but it's partnered with all the CSUs in California, and you get to apply to the Academy of Fine Arts, which is the location of the Statue of David. So, when she told me all that, I said, where do I begin? How do I begin the process? And it was a year-long application process where I had to take prerequisites, such as I had to learn Italian. So that was pretty fun. I enjoyed learning a new language, and I definitely wanted to learn, wanted to, you know, understand the culture. So I didn't want to stick out like a tourist. So that was one of the it was difficult but very interesting courses that I had to take.
Wow.
So, yeah,
So, one question that it occurs to me immediately: you're going to Florence, Italy, which is, the birthplace of so much of our Western culture and classical art. And at that point, had you known you were going to do mural art, that you were going to do this special kind of art?
no, I've been what is it, trained by the academy. I've learned the fundamentals, the basics of volumes, value, textures, the way things are perceived through perspective. So going from that realm and tackling a bigger canvas such as a wall was something that I was very nervous about. But it always started with me working on a canvas, and throughout just growing as an artist, I've always told myself, how can I further on my like ambitious approach to being an artist here in the Central Valley. And during the pandemic, when it first started, when the lockdown started, I was trying to figure out how I can still be creative and be at home. And one of my first murals was actually located in my front yard in Livingston. And I did like a couple flowers and a hummingbird. But before that, I just had this urge that when I came back from Florence, it is a location where you just live and breathe art. And I wanted to come back to the States with that same energy. And I felt like I didn't want to just, have that same drive in Florence and just tell myself, oh, that was all a dream, back to reality. And, here I go working at my 9 to 5 and, just forgetting that I got that opportunity. So, with that, I just try to look further on and see what I could do around my area and continue doing my own passion.
Were you inspired or influenced by the Mexican muralists like Diego Rivera?
I was by learning a bit of some mural artists, especially Diego Rivera, and seeing how huge a mural can go, or the impact artwork can do to the masses or to just a community it's something up my alley. I always like to do community building art projects, just because I understand that it might be cool just posting my own artwork that people might not understand, but I would actually prefer to speak to my residents and see, hey, what would you like to see? What's something cool that we can do here in the community together?
Okay. That's great.
So I still have this picture in my head of you going to Italy with a spray can. And I know you didn't do that, but given the classical training and that you got in Italy, what do you think they would think of what you're doing now?
I think they would probably be really interested. When I went to the Accademia dell'Arte, it was one of those things where everyone was so focused on, like Michelangelo paintings, drawings, but all the students were just like, I want to draw like that. And it was really interesting because the professors were like, we want some new stuff. We want some digital kind of ideas, and which was for us was like, well, we came to, we thought we were going to be next to some marble columns,
Right.
like we were going to like learn how to like really get into the nitty gritty of painting real life portraits, but they weren't even interested in that. They're saying, oh yeah, you do that in your first 2 years, but you're what is it, a study abroad student that's here for a year. We want to learn from you. So I was like, okay, I have no idea what I can do as a student with these professors, but we definitely collabed on how I had ideas for murals back then as well, because I wanted to impress the community around me in Italy. And one of the things that when I was talking to other artists, I was seeing that they were doing really huge canvases. You'd have to roll them up. They're probably like 5 feet by 10 feet. And that is kind of normal when you're a senior or a junior in college, especially in Florence. But one thing that they were doing was they were cementing their artwork on the walls, and I thought that was pretty interesting. That's a different way that they would, consider doing murals. You know, 'cause I feel like anywhere you go, if you see someone with a spray can, you probably think they're gonna vandalize and not beautify.
Right, right. We seem to be losing a little bit of contact with you here. Uh, so let's see. Yeah, we have some examples of your work, some pictures. Why don't we start out and take a look at some of these, and you can tell us the story behind them.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do we have here? Oh, there we go.
Okay, yeah, there we go. So that's actually my first mural. That's my historical. It's located in the historical museum in Livingston. It was my first one. I emailed Parks and Rec, and I told them that I graduated from CSU Stanislaus. I'm back in town, and I would love to do something with the community. So I spoke to Jackie Benoit, which is a Parks and Rec director, and we collabed with the Historical Society in Livingston and the people that run the museum to to come up with the concept that would highlight this building. There's a lot of hidden gems in Livingston that a lot of people might not know. So I decided to kind of make these things as postcards or stamps, just to kind of like have the residents, look at some of the highlight locations of Livingston that were from our past, and honor it on this wall.
And who are some of the people that you depicted in this mural?
So on the right side of this photo, we have Dr. David Livingstone. He, I'm not sure why, but it was very popular naming your city, your town after a celebrity, especially someone from the it was like 1800s, I believe. But for some reason, Livingston was established in 1922, and in that area, it used to be called Livingstone, but when it was established, someone, I guess, dropped the E by accident. So we were called, we were named Livingston after that. But people ask me, who is this guy? Is he a local? But no, it's just someone that through, I guess, the history, they enjoyed and admired the stories of Dr. David Livingstone's voyage in Africa and finding the source of the Nile. And it was just one of those, he was one of those legends. Like, people didn't know if he was real or not because of the stories that they would hear from him. So that was just something that I wanted to highlight. People don't understand where we get the name from, or even the little errors that happened, that now we're called Livingston because of this.
So one thing I noticed, this was not done with a spray can, correct? Or was
it was not at first. This was a long project of about maybe 2 months of me going back and forth, probably 4 hours or 8 hours a day with a brush. I had my buckets of water, had my buckets of paint, had my scaffolding, and what is it? So I actually ended up having a mentor of mine. Well, he's my mentor now, but he was a friend early on. And I was admiring his work in Modesto. His name is Aaron Vickery, and a lot of people know him by Phasm Creative. He is an amazing artist, does a lot of murals in Modesto. And he ended up contacting me and said, I would like to see, get down and do your mural. And it was like 100 degrees that day, like in August. And, he takes me to the side and he's like, I don't mean to brag or anything, but I need to show you how you use a spray can, because you're not going to believe this. I understand it took you 2 months to do this, but if you use spray cans, it would take you probably a week or a week and a half to finish this. So hearing that, I'm just like, hey, teach me, please. And after that, I ended up finishing the mural really quick. It took me like a week to just kind of do some finishing details. And after that, I was hooked. A lot of the spray can work that I ended up doing was a little bit of the clouds, some of the leaves at the bottom, and yeah, just doing some details with the butterfly as well.
So you started out like Michelangelo with a scaffold and a brush.
Yes.
Yes.
It was very exhausting.
And now your teacher is Aaron Vickery.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. We
Now,
definitely still collab. We do a lot of projects together. We try to, but we're both pretty busy.
yeah,
Hmm.
wonderful, wonderful. Okay, and where did you go from here? What's next here? Oh,
This is actually a project I did with I was an assistant with Aaron Vickery here with Phasm Creative on this mural located in Hillmar. It's at the Hillmar Meets, a really cool place. Definitely check it out. But we tackled this one in 2 days. We went in, we did a lot of half brush, half well, I guess we rolled a lot of it with a roller, and then the next day we tackled it with spray cans.
very nice. This is in, what'd you say, Hillmar?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
at Hillmar. Definitely, it's in one of the main busy streets, so it really catches your attention when you're driving by.
I'm just thinking we're going to need to make a map of these things that you and Aaron have done so that when people drive around, they can do a tour, see some of
Definitely
these amazing works of
that'd be a
art.
great idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been in Livingston for a long time, but hey, it's worth a trip now. Okay, so
Oh, and here's a location in Modesto. This is a
okay.
Contentment Brewing. It's located near the community college, I believe, Modesto. And it's another project that I did with the owner, Alejandro. And we came up with an idea that he really wanted these like hops to just kind of dangle over his building. And we just tackled it. I actually did this one on a ladder, and it was one of the longest ladders I've ever been on. It was pretty scary just trying to work on this one. I wish we had like some sort of lift, but sometimes you just kind of have to attack a wall and understand your budget. So it was really cool doing this kind of thing and seeing Alejandro's face afterwards and just surprising him. And he was with me halfway of the process. Like he would watch me. He's a busy guy, so he'd be in there, serving. Uh, well, not serving because we were during the pandemic, but he was prepping some beers so that he can have them in growlers. So it was a really cool event we ended up doing together and a great project as well.
Yeah, yeah, I can't imagine you doing it on a ladder. During your intro, it showed you you had a lift, and I
Yeah,
imagine that's a lot more secure than balancing on a ladder and doing this
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay, and what do we have here?
That's at the same location as well. It continues to go to the corner of his building, and he just wanted to highlight a bit of California onto the wall. So a little fun fact about that is I was sometimes you don't know when you want to be artsy, and when I did this project, this bear with him, I believe it was a couple months ago when we had really strong winds. I believe we had probably 30 to 40-mile winds. I don't remember what day it was, what month it was, but um, thanks to Alejandro, he actually had this big piece of like of a wooden panel just to block the wind from getting the spray can, just pushing the spray can away. So props to him because it was like around 8 p.m. or 7 p.m. and we were I just decided, hey, I got my supplies in the car, like let's just do it. And I just thank him for being a good assistant on that part.
Absolutely, it's a part of your technique that I guess most people wouldn't think about. But when
Yeah,
you're out there spraying, yeah, when the wind comes up, man, could have
That's
sprayed.
marvelous.
Yeah.
thank you.
So where do we go from here? Let's.
So right here we have
Oh, she
Frida
looks
Kahlo.
familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, we have Frida Kahlo here. This is located in Modesto as well, in Frida's Taqueria. I collaborated with the owner Juan in beautifying their location. They just opened, I believe, last month. So going in there definitely needed a little bit of a touch up in some walls, and he contacted me and said that he would love to collab with me. And I had, this is my first Frida mural. So it was really a great opportunity for me to kind of get down and show what I got.
Yeah. So where is this
lovely.
in Modesto? Just out of curiosity. When
It's
you,
called Frida Taqueria. I'm not
yeah.
sure what street it's on. I just have like a muscle memory when I drive in Modesto.
Okay. North, south, east, or west from Modesto?
It's getting you get off where the mall's at. Was that
Pellendale?
what's that exit?
Yeah.
Pellendale?
Yeah,
No.
you get off there,
Okay.
you go straight for a little bit and then you turn left. I forgot what street it was. But I think it is Allendale. But yeah,
Uh,
it's
a treasure hunt. That's what we can call it. Sure. Great. And this is a recent one, you said?
yeah, the Frida one, yeah, I've
Yeah.
actually finished it, I believe, 2 weeks ago.
Ah, okay.
And then
I haven't seen.
here we have another Livingston project. I ended up doing these larger than life cutouts with Livingston to promote our diversity. Being what is it? Born and raised in Livingston, I do believe that we have a huge, residential community that we all kind of just get along. We all just seem to really love Livingston. We like living there, even though it's a small little city. We all, our neighbors are really friendly. There's nothing to be kind of like it's just a nice place. And one thing that I wanted to highlight was our diversity. We do have a high community population of Punjabis and Hispanics and Filipinos, Mennonites. And one of the projects that I did was, highlighting some of these communities and cultures, but I didn't want to just, paint them in a certain way where it just seems like we do our occupation. We were first going to highlight all of these as occupations and see like, there could be a Punjabi that's a doctor, there could be a Hispanic that is a nurse, what is it, teacher. But then as I started kind of going through it, I really wanted to highlight our culture and where we come from. So this is actually a Hispanic representation cutout, and I chose to highlight my mother. I chose to pick her just because I felt like she is kind of like my Rosie the Riveter. She is my like Dolores Huerta. She's a woman that definitely, to me, embodies, like a leader. And I just wanted to highlight her and also not go too into the details because I wanted to have other Hispanics and other people kind of drive by or walk by and say like, hey, that reminds me of my mom, my aunt, my grandma,
Uh-huh.
just anything like that. So that was a really amazing opportunity for me to do and to collab with the city to present this project.
Did your mother know you were working on this?
No, she didn't. It was a big surprise.
Okay. What could you describe it what structurally, artistically? What is it? This is a
Yeah, these
what?
are so they're about 12 feet tall on metal plate. The way it's designed is I do a design like you see right now, and we
Uh-huh.
get the silhouette and we cut it to the shape it needs to be. And then from there, I go ahead and try my best to capture the image onto the metal plate. I do try to either use the grid method, doodle method, or
Uh-huh.
even a projector if time is of the essence.
Okay. So then this just is a freestanding piece?
Yeah, so that's actually located. A lot of these are located on the welcome sign in Livingston. We have about two welcome signs, but they're all located in one certain spot when you walk in or drive into Livingston.
Uh-huh.
And I believe we have another one. I just finished doing this one. Oh, we unveiled them last week. This is the Filipino cutout on the left and the Portuguese representation on the right. Um, the Filipino community was amazing to work with. I when it comes to these ideas, I want to make sure that I represent the community in Livingston, with honor and respect. So I go ahead and communicate and I talk to people on Facebook. We have like a Facebook group on Livingston, and I tell them I want to represent the Filipino community. So friends in that group chat directed me to the Jamero family, where which they have a huge, rich history in Livingston, and they welcomed me into their home, and they have their own private Filipino museum as well in their homes, and I learned a lot, and I felt like I was part of the family. It was amazing to see up to 4 generations standing next to this cutout of their grandmother and or even their great grandmother. And actually, I've had the oldest one was the son, and he was there, and he was like, I can't believe I'm looking at my mom right now. She's
Oh,
12 feet tall.
Oh,
You
wow.
know?
Yeah.
And yeah, and with the Portuguese community as well, I worked with the Portuguese Pentecost, uh, and let's see who else. It was A.B. Thomas Company. They are also a Filipino owned, not Filipino, sorry, Portuguese owned business that do sweet potatoes. And we do a lot of, Livingston's kind of known for their sweet potatoes here. So collaborating with him, was A.B. Thomas, uh, I believe is Mr. Vieira.
Uh-huh.
He kind of told me a little bit of the history, and we have a lot of our Portuguese community that come from the Azores, and one thing that we do a lot are festa celebrations, and we celebrate the queens here in Livingston. We have a whole parade for them, and we just celebrate the crowning. And I have a friend of mine that she's been crowned twice, so I decided to talk to her about her culture and just try to represent it in a cool way and what we do here in Livingston.
So these are by the Welcome to Livingston sign? That's
Yeah.
where, wow, okay. And I just saw that someone posted something, the Freedom mural is at 2101 West Rumble Road in Modesto. So
There we go.
those of you who are watching and want to drive over and see some of his work, that's where it is, on Rumble Road. So between Rumble Road, then you can get on the freeway and drive down to Livingston.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, wonderful, wonderful.
yeah.
You're being, it's nice. Well, it's wonderful to see how you've been accepted into the community and you're helping to, what, amp?
I guess, well, I mean, I just try to see what I can do to help while I, find a way to, have a passion, well, do the thing that I'm passionate about.
Yes.
But I feel like I'm doing okay. And one thing that I enjoy doing a lot is trying to either do projects with my community or, just show them, because obviously when you look at an artist with a spray, or when you look at someone with a spray can, you probably think they're up to no good. But I definitely want people to understand that in the right hands, obviously you can create beautiful art in your community. And here's a great example. This is another mural in Modesto. This is a restoration I did at at Hart Elementary School,
Okay.
Hart Ransom Elementary School.
Art Ransom. Okay.
Yeah, it looked really. I'm not sure how old that wall was, but it was pretty hit by the sun, so it was almost white. So I went in there and respects to the artist that did it first. I just went and did some color touch-ups and restored it as much as I could. And it was really cool to see like the kids looking at this process and just watching me do this. This was around January, so we weren't yet into the whole lockdown part of the pandemic. So it was really cool while it lasted.
Yeah.
That's so great that the students were able to watch you work. And of course, some of them love art, and it must have been just such a wonderful role model for them. Like, look, here's someone who's grown up making art. I could do that too. It's nice.
Yeah. Wonderful. So.
Cool. So we got some
Hey,
more.
I recognize him. Sure.
Yeah, this is my Martin Luther King Jr. mural here in Merced. I collabed with the community, with residents. This was all what is it? It was volunteer, but the residents gave me the supplies I needed. So I went ahead and I worked with the NAACP in Merced with Tamara Cobb, and we wanted to do something for Martin Luther King Jr. And they gave me creative freedom. This is kind of like a style that I really like to kind of tackle. I really like this gradients of colors and do a little bit of this checkerboard or these grids kind of patterns. So this was a really interesting project because it wasn't gonna turn out like this. It was gonna be probably like solid colors, uh, not too realistic looking. So I had a lot of fun just kind of discovering this wall and figuring out how this is gonna look at the end. So this was a great collab, great project.
And this
When
is
did
in Merced, right?
Yeah, yeah.
and when did you do this one?
This one was I believe it was in the middle of February.
Uh,
That's
so
marvelous.
just
Thank
before
you.
just before everybody got locked down, huh? Or February of this year
Oh,
or
you know what?
last year?
Yeah, it was this year, this February,
Oh,
or
okay,
or beginning of March, I believe.
okay.
Yeah, usually I try to work on the weekends, so sometimes I try to do either a 3-day project. This one was about 4 days.
Uh-huh.
It was pretty fun.
So since I raised that ugly issue of the lockdown, did that affect you at all, or how did it affect you?
Yeah,
Uh,
I had some projects lined up, and just because of budgets uh, and because of the lockdown and things, people had to definitely budget through the lockdown. I did lose some commissions, and I was going to work with some schools to, do some projects with the students or do some projects either on my own. But I always like to, have other hands to touch the wall and to work with me, just because I feel like if I do it and I just walk away from it, like the community like just probably thinks, oh, this is cool. Or like students, I feel like if kids are involved, they would appreciate it more. They would walk by it and remember the moments that they had when they were doing the wall. There's a little bit of pride when it comes to doing murals.
yeah. Um, you mentioned it a couple times, and I've been impressed with uh, what would, I guess, for lack of a better way of describing it, your motivation that you like the community involvement. You like the involvement of other people. You're honoring of the diversity in your community. Um, can you say more about that? Where does this come from? I mean, just you're going to Italy and learning the language first. I mean, you're
Yeah,
for
I mean, I feel like it definitely comes from my parents. I was born in a really like a giving environment. My parents always told me to like, if you feel like you want to share something, please do it. If you can help anyone out, go for it. When it comes to my mural projects, it sounds so cheesy, but it's usually kind of like you really have to shoot for the stars. Whatever dream you have, just go ahead and do it. I understand it's really easy to say. You're like, oh, well, my dream is to do this crazy ambition thing. Well, obviously, you find ways to tackle it and figure out what kind of things you need to do to get there. So when it comes to murals in the community, I tell myself I probably have some money saved up for my own supplies that I can go ahead and collab or do something with this type of nonprofit or just like a local that might need some help. And I try to tell them, hey, we can work something out. But it's usually like they know my worth, they respect me. They know that I'm here to help. That's one thing that I really don't want people to think, that I'm just coming for quick trade or a quick cash. But usually, something that I learned from my parents is, just if you have like a talent, don't just hold it in, try to show it, try to be proud of it. So I've been finding ways to express that. So thanks to a lot of my friends that volunteer their time with me. I have a friend of mine that he's my videographer. He's my best friend. And, sometimes we both don't get paid. We just go out and we're like, hey, this would be a really cool project to do for the community. Let's go ahead and do it. And he captures hours of, of me doing stuff. And we both just do it for the fun. We're like, no one's doing this here, or maybe they are, but their voices aren't being heard, and something like that really helps me out. So even when it comes to either if it's art, videography, or music, or poetry, or anything you want to do, I feel like that's the kind of drive you have to have. Even though you feel like no one's listening, just do it for yourself and and push yourself to that goal.
I just think it's wonderful. I wish all communities had someone like you bringing people together, showing respect, honoring the different aspects of the community. It would be a much better world.
Or I mean, I feel like a lot of communities do. I mean, look at what y'all are doing. I mean, this is amazing being part of a group that is highlighting creatives or things around in the community for others to know about. I mean, we're all somehow doing it. It just we need a little help, getting that I guess exposure, just being like, hey, I'm right here.
Yeah, getting it
I'm
out
doing
there.
something. But
Yeah,
no, yeah, I definitely agree. We need more of that, and I
yeah,
hope we can find them, or I hope they can find us.
Yeah.
yeah.
We have a comment that pertains a bit to this. Sal Salerno suggested a tour map of these murals would be a good idea worth exploring. You might want to put that on your
Great idea.
website, for example. Speaking
Yeah.
of which, what is your website so people can check it out?
Well, I definitely need to revisit it because it's outdated. But my website is I guess joelaguilarte.com. It's Joel Aguilar and then te.com. I like to have fun with my last name since my last name is Aguilar. Is there an AR? And I decided to make it artsy with the arte at the end. But yeah, it's a little bit outdated, but I have some of my old college projects that I did in my last years.
And social media, you probably have a presence there.
Yes. I try to stay active as much as I can in social media. My biggest platform, I would say, would be Instagram. If anybody wants to get a hold of me, you can reach me on my Instagram, which is Gamut92. That's GAMUT underscore 92. And that's like the easiest place to reach me. You can bug me anytime you want. If it's something about a question about art, murals, I'm not trying to hide my secrets. I don't mind sharing. So I feel like if I can either inspire someone or mentor someone, that would be a really cool thing. Just because in the end of the day, I'm just one person. I would love to expand and have a group of creatives to just collab with and tackle projects. I know there's a lot of people that I do. I just I what is it? I see them, and I hope to one day reach that kind of level as well.
Uh-huh. One of the things I'm most impressed with is you mentioned it during your talk at one point that if people see someone showing up with a spray can, they immediately think of defacing property or tagging or graffiti or with some negative kind of thing. And between you and Aaron, you've are two local examples of transforming this disrespectful uh, process into a real art form. And you've taken it one step further, and that's what's really impressive, which is to have the community embrace it. I mean, that.
Well, yeah, thanks. I mean, it did. There was just something that just like it was like a light bulb kind of moment where I'm just like I've been trying to get my artwork in galleries, and when galleries closed, I didn't know where to go. So one of the things that I told myself well, you know what, listening to Aaron and understanding that murals are just like, like just a free gallery, I thought to myself, instead of my paintings being in my garage, why don't I try to, put them out in public? So at first it started with me doing some small pop-up events of just having my artwork there. But I really wanted to be more impactful with my community. I wanted to kind of push the envelope a little bit more. So, it just kind of happened, like just, yeah.
That's an interesting comment about, many artists, it's like, how do I get people to look at my art? And you talk to a lot of artists, and most of it is under their bed or in their garage, or that's where it is.
It's
And
getting, for me, yeah, it's getting dusty in my garage.
yeah. And I'm reminded of another artist in town, Jordy Camps, who runs the restaurant, Picasso's. I don't know if you've been there.
Oh, no,
But
I should be.
he struggled with this early on in his career too. And what he ended up doing is painting tabletops in his restaurant so that people had to confront it. So it's a kind of a similar idea. You're putting it right out there. People. It's like, there it is. Here I am. So it's a wonderful approach for an artist. So I see on the comment section here, if people want to look, we don't have to repeat it, but Joel's what do we have here? His social media stuff, Instagram, his website. So if you want to check out the site of the people who are watching, check out the site here. You can find out where these things are. So.
And when I interviewed Joel for the KCBP program, I Googled his name, and there are some wonderful articles and videos. You've been on TV. They were very interesting, and people should check it out.
Right.
Yeah, I'm very surprised as well. I haven't gotten to that point. I will definitely check it out because I want to read these articles too. I didn't know I had some articles. But yeah, what is it? A couple of days ago, I was actually interviewed by Univision, which is a very popular station for the Hispanic community. So for me, I was just like, wow. I've done ABC Fresno, which was really cool too. I really enjoy, like, besides doing all that kind of stuff, it's kind of nervous. I get nervous being on TV and stuff, but when it comes to like talking about art, like I could do that all day. But I'd love to collab more with local newspapers, magazines, just to see how we can create daily art in our community or events. I'm pretty sure there's someone out there already doing this, but I would just love to collab with them and do more, especially just all of Central Valley. I know I'm from Livingston, and I drive to Modesto, Tracy, Turlock, Merced, Fresno, even to do some projects. But like, this Central Valley has a lot to show when it comes to creatives, and I feel like we're just scraping the surface.
Well, we are very grateful that you are part of the creative community in the Central Valley, and we look forward to seeing more of your work. And if we can somehow come up with a map of these things, maybe we can promote it. That would be a great thing. So thank you for coming on our show, and thank you for sharing your art and your ideas and your sense of community.
Yeah,
that's wonderful.
It is.
So I guess we can say goodbye for now, and hope to see you again very soon.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Joel. It was marvelous.